Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is already available on your Nintendo Switch or your PC. And today we're going to be going over some really amazing news, and that is the fact that Director Suzuki took to Twitter on both the Japanese and North American Monster Hunter accounts to basically confirm the addition of weapon augmentations becoming part of the next free title update that we are going to be getting later this month. Now, if you remember about a week or two back when we got the confirmation that augmenting was going to be coming back from previous games, all they ever mentioned was armor. They didn't necessarily mention anything about weapons or anything like that. And now not only did we get to see what it's actually going to look like for weapons, but of course we have the direct confirmation as well. So their official post in English, which is the same one in Japanese, so we're going to focus on the English one for now. It mentions, "Hey everyone, we'll be revealing the details for the first free title update soon. We hope you're looking forward to it. For now, here's an image depicting the curious crafting with regard to the weapon upgrades. Suzuki, the director for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak." So first and foremost, let's just take a fact that they are mentioning that the free title update is set to release very soon, or at the very least, the details for it are going to be dropping soon. Hopefully that actually means, like I mentioned in a couple of videos ago, seething Beisugi's gameplay, and of course the actual release date, whenever that is. If they tell us it's actually the 31st of August, that's completely fine. Just tell us the release date so people can stop being confused about when this is actually going to happen. But more importantly, of course, they mentioned that now we are going to be getting, with this free title update, crafting for augmenting weapons, which is something that people had been expecting since, of course, this was also part of Iceborne in the form of the guiding lance, which was, depending on who you really ask, a really great idea or not necessarily a great idea. But of course, that was slightly divisive on its very own. So with the image that they attached, we're actually going to segment it into three separate parts because there's a lot to go over. On the left side of the screen, they show you the curious crafting, which interestingly enough, that is actually what they're going to call it. I thought that was just a meme, but no, they're actually going to stick to that name. They show you what anomaly additions you want to have. They basically show attack boost, affinity boost, elemental boost, sharpness boost, and interestingly enough, rampage slot upgrade. Now, each one of these seems to be like a gem, basically like a decoration you're going to be slotting in to each one of your weapons. Now, on the middle side, we get to see the Decapitator Trident. I can't really pronounce that all that well, but that is what I'm guessing is the Malzeno Great Sword. And on the bottom side, you get to see that there's 3 out of 5 gem slots open. That actually implies that each one of the gem slots on the left can be slotted in on the bottom of the weapon. So essentially you are getting some weapons that might have 1 gem slot, 2, this one has 3, some may have 4, and some may even have 5 augmented gem slots to be completely slotted in. And of course, on the right side of the screen, we get to see the stats for the weapon as they basically change. The weapon itself still maintains the slots for decorations that you would normally have that have nothing to do with augmented slotting. And of course, on the bottom of that, you still have your rampage slots naturally to the weapon. Now, if you take in just the fact that you can add in attack boost, basically ×3 on this specific weapon, probably each one of the attack boosts is going to give you, let's just say for the sake of saying, +5. So you're going to be able to have +15 attack boosts on this specific weapon. But if you happen to actually want rampage slot upgrades, then you're going to notice that if you slot in 3 of those rampage slots upgrades, the right side of the screen most likely is going to change that rampage slot from +1 to +4, meaning that you're going to be able to slot in basically the best rampage slot decorations available in the game for this specific weapon, which as of right now you cannot do. That's basically one of the reasons why they have that, is because that's how they try to balance weapons. They give some of them higher elemental, some of them affinity, some of them a defense bonus, some of them better slots, and some of them even better rampage slots. And because every weapon now has a rarity 10 equivalent, that's how they've basically been balancing the weapons, with the attack power not being the sole driver of how it is that you're going to slot in your weapon and how you're going to set up your armor or whatever. But now not only the armor is going to have pretty much the freedom to be able to have augmented slots, but also the weapons themselves, which For me specifically, I think this is a complete game changer. I wasn't expecting them to do the weapons. They only had mentioned armor before, but now that we know that the weapons are gonna get augmented bonuses, I think this just basically makes the game just completely wide open for you to be able to make really insane armor sets. Now, of course, we're already seeing people making those drain and bleed type of armor sets already, which give you insane attack power boost as long as you have that bleed activated. And now these are gonna be, you know, going off the top, pretty crazy stuff. The fact that you can also add in more elemental boost, more affinity, sharpness, I'm not necessarily sure that's gonna be all that beneficial. Probably depends on the weapon. Attack boost, raw power is always good, but I think the benefit of having rampage slot updates, for me specifically, I think is going to be fantastic to have. Now, it's really going to boil down to which one of the weapons can really take the best advantage of this. You know, how many of slots are going to have available for each one of the weapons. It doesn't look like you can actually add in more slots for the weapon. Maybe they just come, all of them come with 3, some of them just come with 5. If they're, you know, considered a weaker weapon, we have to wait and see. But the potential of bringing those weapons that have like minus affinity up to 0 without even having to put a decoration for plus affinity or crit element or anything like that, it's just going to be massive. It's definitely going to let people mess around with weapons in ways that we have not been able to have, of course, in Monster Hunter Rise, but of course, probably even in Rise as of right now. So it's certainly going to change the way we actually approach the meta, which people at this point in time are getting really wild with the armor sets that they're coming up with. And of course, it's still worth mentioning that armor sets at the very least still seem to be RNG based, which really begs the question why they decided to give you specific and static numbers, or, you know, ways for you to be able to upgrade your weapons with attack, affinity, elemental, sharpness, or rampage, especially rampage, since they cannot give you like +6. It just can only go up by 1 each single time. But when it comes to armors, they decided to do that one randomly. It's just by happenstance based on whatever it is that you decided to augment and basically get a random buff. And that is really going to be, you know, one of the things that is probably going to upset a lot of people, but this one is probably going to make a lot of people happy based on simply the fact that it's not RNG based, and RNG based basically means more grind. I already made a video discussing just what monsters you want to farm for those afflicted materials already that are available in the game, but we know more afflicted materials are also going to be added in with this free title update. So, you know, it's just going to make the grind a little bit more crazy when it comes to the armor side of things. But when it comes to the weapon side of things, I think this is probably the best way to approach it. Just give you a static list of buff and boosts, and then choose which ones you actually want to have. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you are brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.